Today I'm going to be walking you through the answer key for the case study, and right now I've just got CBORD open, and you can refer to the previous videos that have been posted if you don't know how to get here, but this is the basic CBORD home screen. So we're going to start, and we're going to spend most of our time in nutrition services. We're going to click on card file, and card file will open here. And we are going to look up the last name of our patient, which has been given to you. So DDEPT, our patient's name is Brescia DDEPT, and we can see they're in training room 1. So that's just for the sake of training purposes. We don't want to look at a real patient. So this is just an example of a patient we have created. So once this patient's file is open, the first question is the date that the patient was admitted. And so this is down here. It says admit. It shows us that this patient was admitted on August 19th, 2021, and it gives us the exact time as well. Next, what site is this patient at? So if we go up and look at diet order here, seems like kind of a funny place to show you where the patient is admitted, but it tells us HG, so that's Hamilton General Hospital. This could also say Dravinsky, Mumsy, or any other hospitals that exist. Next, we're going to move on to allergies. So right in red here, it's quite obvious. You can see that this patient has a no apple, no nuts. So they have an apple allergy and a nut allergy. This will be taken into account when their food is being programmed in. Next, we're going to look at their preferences. So this is question 5. We can look at their preferences, and I'll just give you a couple examples of all the patient's preferences here. So for breakfast every single day, we have serve egg. So this will mean that this patient will get, on top of their regular breakfast, they'll also get an egg at breakfast every single day. Next, lunch, we have remove dessert. So this is removing the diet course dessert, and you can see these two here. But then at lunch, we also have serve 1 vanilla ice cream cup at lunch. So what this means is that this patient will not get the regular dessert, but instead they'll get a vanilla ice cream. This is just so that the patient won't get double dessert, and this is what the patient has requested in this case. You can also see down here, these are some extra sources of protein, so cheese, hummus, a supplement, and it also tells us what days of the week this is. And as a snack, they want a sandwich. So this is what has been put in manually for the patient, and this is sometimes to supplement their diet. It's also sometimes just because the patient asks for a specific item. Next, what is this patient's diet order? So up here, right under diet order, we can see they're veg 2, no meat. And we'll talk about what that means when we're answering the next question, which is what foods aren't allowed on this diet. So here, I will refer you to the diet descriptions document. So this tells us all the different types of vegetarian diets. So veg 2 means that the patient can have fish and eggs, but they cannot have red meat or chicken. So sometimes people will call this pescatarian, but in CBORD it is called veg 2. And what they're given will also be in accordance to that. Next, we're going to go to previous. The question is, what were the patient's previous diet orders? So we can just go to the orders tab and we can press diet. Now, this isn't a very accurate example. It doesn't make sense if this was a real patient, but since this was a test patient, we can just see we've put them on all different diets. These ones are inactive or canceled, but their current diet is the one with the green check mark, so vegetarian. But we can also go into here and see what previous diets they have been on. So we're going to close that. Next, we're going to look at the selections. And for the sake of this example, we're actually going to change the date to the 3rd of September, just because that'll show us all the different foods that they have. It's not programmed for every single day. So 3rd of September, that'll show you a really good example. So when we look at the source of the food, this will often tell us if it was a paper menu, if someone came around and took their order with a tablet. But here we can just see this is just a standard diet that CBORD has programmed for them, so course required level. And then you can also see their preference in here. So that was the preference that we talked about before that someone has gone in and manually put in for them. So sometimes it's important to look at those to see how the patient ordered their food. Next, what are the calories and protein for this item? So we're going to stay in selections here and press edit selections. And this will give us, this will show us all of the different nutrition information for this patient and on this particular day. So if we want to look at the items, we can see the calories, the protein, all the nutrition information for each separate item, which is important to know, and then also a day summary. So that answers the next question. So how many calories are they getting in one whole day? That's 1,837 calories and 85.6 grams of protein. Okay, we can just press close. And then the next question is, what steamplicity did this patient have on the 3rd of September? So often patients will just get steamplicities for dinner, and we're going to look at which one they got. So steamplicity items will always start with *SP. So we can see that on the 9th of September, this patient got an omelet, potato, broccoli, and they also got some other items, but the question is asking what steamplicity, and that's the one that they got. And finally, this question asking, what is the cost of a sandwich? Now this is where we will need to go to items. So we're going to go to item maintenance. And you would have seen this in the video before, but let's say they have a tuna sandwich. We're going to find that tuna sandwich on whole wheat. And to look at the cost of the item, we go to service, and it's 92 cents for this one item. Now that's in a whole different window. There's a more detailed video on this that you can refer to, but that gives us a good idea of the cost of the items, among other things. So one final thing that we're going to quickly look at. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to click that one. Nutrition services. We're going to go back into card file for this patient. It'll just bring up what we were just looking at. And we're just going to quickly look at the preference notes. So here we can click on the notes, show food preferences, and this gives us a little history. These notes are really important to just communicate allergies to apple and nuts. Vegetarian, fish is okay, so they're veg too. Also shows us some information about their preferences. And that answers all the questions for the case study. I would encourage you to look back at the previous videos if you're still struggling, because I know this was just a quick overview, but I hope that was helpful. Thanks.